Hey, Facebookers. Hey, Parental CEO fam. I'm delighted to be here today covering one of my favorite subjects, and it's websites, lead generation, and I'm a total geek when it comes to that. I hope you're having a great day so far on this Wednesday. We actually had to pick Tobias up early because he had a bit of tummy problems, let's say. So we've had an eventful day. But that's the life of a parent entrepreneur, and that's the whole reason why we're here in this community. You know, this community is dedicated to parent entrepreneurs across the globe. You know, we're trying to bring education to the platform for free to give you as much information, as much help and support as we can to help you run a better business, to help you be a better parent. To ultimately, my goal is to help you to become the CEO of your business, so you have that freedom, so you have that amount of money that you can spend that time with your children. So I'm really, really excited to be presenting today. I asked the audience what they'd like to learn about, and the audience spoke. So we had 7 votes for this, how to review your own website to create a magnet for your ideal clients. Now, I want to lay a bit of context into this and why this is so important. So I have created a presentation, so deaf by presentation, but this will be really valuable. Get your pens and paper out. I'm really excited to be doing this session. So let's go. This is completely free. It's costing you nothing to be here to learn from the master, the Jedi, myself. No, it's not. I'm not no master, no Jedi, but I am definitely an apprentice, and I'm learning so much about online marketing, the online world, and I've spent the last 5 years and thousands of pounds on education because I love it. I absolutely geek out on it, and I think the only way we as parents can create that business and that freedom is by creating an online business. So without further ado, I'm Jamie Selby. I'm your host today, and I'm really, really excited to be here. So let's go. So let me go back. If I can go back. So how to review your own website to create a magnet for your ideal clients. Now, that's not the problem. The problem most people have is that they're not getting enough leads. They're not getting enough customers. They're not getting enough clicks. They may be getting people to their website, but then there's no conversion. There's no way of capturing those leads. I mean, when was the last time you actually looked at your analytics to see how many people were looking at your website? So I can tell you I did this actually yesterday, and I had 3,470 people clicking on my website. Of that, the amount of people that were watching the video was 500. So not great conversions, and that's something I'm working on. And as I'm doing this video, which is quite exciting, you know, I'm working on creating the website for Parental CEO, which is going to form the Parental CEO program to help you transition from a hustling parentpreneur to bossing it as the CEO of your business. Now, some of you might think that you're already the CEO of your business, which you probably are, but you're also the manager, you're also the technician, you're doing everything. You're wearing so many hats, and it's very, very difficult to get out of that mindset. And I'm looking forward to actually covering that next week. So that was what came second in the vote. I'm really, really excited to be covering that next week. And I've just noticed that one of my photos is sideways, so I don't even know why that is. But the big problem we have with websites is not getting enough leads. So, and why is that? Well, predominantly it's because of these 3 people here. Well, not people, but organizations. You've got Google, you've got Microsoft, and you've got Facebook. These are the 3 online powerhouses that control so much data, so much information that they've been getting in trouble with governments for let's just say not doing what they should be doing to protect the information and information that's false, let's be honest. But these 3 guys, or not guys, why am I calling them guys? These 3 firms are competing against each other. Now, neither one of them like to compete with one another. Now, Microsoft own LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, if you're predominantly focusing on LinkedIn when it comes to your business, and you then want to use your LinkedIn profile to then get traffic to your website, that's great. But then if you want to get people from LinkedIn to go to Facebook, or from Facebook to LinkedIn, or from Google to Facebook, from Google to LinkedIn, Google doesn't like that. Google wants you to stay on their platform. Google wants you to go onto YouTube, where they can make more money. Now, I was reading an article recently where Google has gotten a lot of trouble for this, but it's so difficult for us to get known and for our content to get seen when it's controlled by these. And it's predominantly these three platforms that are controlling our data and who actually sees our content, who actually sees our website. It's not down to us. Well, I suppose a little bit down to us. We could do organic marketing. We could go out, try and meet thousands of people a year, give them our business card, try and direct them directly to our website. They've then got to type in our website. But how many times do you actually go to Google and type in their website? If you've got a business card, actually type it into the Google search engine. I know I do, just in case I've misspelt something. And typically they will come up to the top of the search. If they don't, it's a good indicator that they need help. Let's be honest. So we have so much competition, and we're wanting to be seen, and the big firms, I just think it's wrong. I just categorically think it's wrong that we are so reliant on these big firms to allow our content to be seen, to allow our Facebook page to be seen, which could then lead content or lead people into our website, or to allow people to see things in our LinkedIn profile to then potentially go to our website, to allow people to see things on a Google search or a YouTube search to then go to our website. So majority of traffic will go through those three mediums. And it's so hard to be seen. It is so difficult to kind of stand up in this crowded place. And I think this image does it justice. Who's sticking out in here? How does a customer make a decision? You've got all these suppliers crying out for your attention. How do you make a decision to move to one person than another? How do you do that? I don't know about you, but how do you make that buying decision? How do you pick who you're going to work with? Is it typically the first page of Google? Is it typically somebody you've been in contact with on Facebook? Or is it typically someone you've been in contact with on LinkedIn? Because I don't know about you, but me, that's typically how I will come into contact with. That's how I came into contact with my coach. That's how my life coach. That's how I came into contact with my business coach. That's how I came into contact with my mentors. That's how I came into contact with training. Everything I've ever come into contact with online has either gone through one of those three platforms. Now, I might, and I'm with the majority there, and that is the majority of volume of traffic. So I want to share a bit of a story about a little bit of a mistake I made. And this is me being vulnerable. And earlier last year, I went out and I was on the online world, and a little bit naively, I thought, I can build a website. That's fine. I can put together. I've got a design mind. I can do graphic design. I understand the logistics of it. I understand the content. And this is where I keep saying the phrase, you can do anything, and I can do anything. And that's something I firmly believe. And I don't mean that to be arrogant, because it's not. It's just I feel like I can do anything if I set my mind to it. And that's the same attitude I want to instill with my children. But that doesn't mean I should be doing it, because I can't do everything. And this is the biggest lesson I learned with website development. I ended up spending thousands and thousands of pounds getting a rubbish website, which wasn't showing up at the top of Google searches, wasn't getting my content seen. It was getting me 0 good leads. It was getting me leads, but it was getting more people that were looking for free information and not really wanting to work with me, which was really frustrating, because I'd spent a huge amount of time investing into my website, into something that is considered a digital asset. It is an asset in your business, and it is something that you should spend a lot of time on, and you should spend money. But this is what prompted me to actually start looking into it and thinking, I've got this beautiful website, but why am I not getting views? Why am I not getting leads? Why am I not getting people? Why is my phone not ringing off the hook with, let's be honest, my phone is ringing off the hook, but it's ringing off the hook with cold callers trying to sell me their stuff rather than customers wanting to buy my stuff. So I've spent thousands and thousands of hours researching, looking at the at what works, what doesn't. And like this picture here, I was so frustrated, scrolling through YouTube, looking at YouTube videos. Again, where did I end up? In a Google platform, searching videos on learning how to create an epic website. How do I review my website? How do I look at the data? What data should I be looking at? How do I simplify that to make it easier so I can help other people cut through all this noise of building an absolutely epic website? And do you need a website that's got 15, 20 pages? And I'm going to categorically say, no, you don't. You don't need a website with 15 pages. You could have a one-page website, but if people land on that website and actually do something, this is the important thing, they do something, they engage with your website, exactly the same with social media content. If they're not engaging with your content, how do you expect them to engage with you to then become a future customer? It's not going to happen. So I've spent this time learning. In this time, I've become a qualified online marketer. I've done so many courses. I've learned from Simon Coulson. I've learned from millionaires on how to do this online. I've spent over 1,000 hours, probably more than that, researching, doing YouTube videos, watching those YouTube videos, trying to learn the intricacies. Is it Facebook ads? Is it Google advertising? Is it Donald Miller story brand? Is it do I need a 15-page website? What's the optimal amount of text? Is it search engine optimization? It's a minefield. It's an absolute minefield. But I've got to admit, I'm a geek. I am a geek. I love my technology and I absolutely love this stuff. I love learning. I really genuinely do love learning. I love learning new skills, but whilst I can do anything, I can't do everything. So this is me with Jackson and Tobias and Lauren. Laura May isn't in there because unfortunately, I was looking through my phone and I haven't got any photos with the five of us together. So this is a bit of an introduction to the family. We have so much fun together, and it's so important to me to portray that message, because this is what we're doing. This is the reason why I'm giving away this content for free, because I want you to have that time with your children. I want you to feel that amazing epic feeling of being able to pick your children up from school every day and not have to worry about getting back. You're not worrying about money, not worrying about paying your bills. That's what I want. That's what I want you to have. I want you to have that feeling. But anyway, that's introduction to us. So let's jump into the content. And this is all about, I've got some notes in front of me as well, well prepared. So I created the Clear website formula. And the Clear website formula is just, it's easy to remember because it's an acronym of Clear. And the reason why I've done it that way is so that if you're doing this again after this live, or you're actually looking at your website, really go through this process. And I'm going to get you to repeat this process time and time again. There's a way you repeat the process as well. But let's go through the first C, customer clarity. Now, you could just call this clarity, but let's call it, let's stick with what it is, customer clarity. And why is that so important when doing your website review? Because if your website is appealing to everyone, it's appealing to no one. I'm going to repeat that. If your website is appealing to everyone, it's appealing to no one. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when you're communicating, imagine when you're communicating with your 2-year-old, you're changing your tone, you're changing how you communicate with your 2-year-old as you would to a 14-year-old, as you would to an adult. It's different communication techniques to get information through. Now, with our website, if we're trying to, I have our ideal customers identify that we can solve their problem, or our business can solve their problem, we need to help them identify that in under 7 seconds. So they need to land on our website and discover that in under 7 seconds. And it's getting less and less and less because, our mobile phones, scroll. People go onto Google, scroll. They're looking for something that's going to capture their eye, something that's going to capture their attention, something that's going to appeal to their nature. So that's why it's so important to get clarity as to who your customer is. Who is it? What's the problem that they're facing? Be very, very clear. Have an avatar. So many marketers are talking about this, but it is so important. So I've worked with a few clients on this, and we've got Bob, we've got Eric, we've got Tanya. We've got so many different avatars. Now, I know from those names who those avatars are. And it is so important to have that avatar, because if you haven't got that avatar, how can you relate the content that's on your website to that person? You're not trying to appeal to AI, which search engine optimization is doing. Search engine optimization is written for an algorithm, which is great. It gets you on the top of Google. People read your content. They're like, ooh, that doesn't really appeal to me. And once upon a time, people just used to put all the search terms, actually hidden content, or make the text white so you couldn't see it on their website. So actually on the search term that they were looking for, they would just put it like 1,000 times in their website, copy and paste literally in their website to get to the top of Google. It was a bit of a hack. Obviously, Google's closed that window now. The algorithm's got much more intelligent, which is kind of scary. But again, that's why it's so important to have that customer clarity. Focus on the customer's problems. Don't focus inwardly on yourself. Now, go and have a look at your website. And when you look at your website, this is part of the first C. This is what you've got to do. When you look at your website, is it talking about you, or is it talking to the customer's problem? Because if it's talking about you, I'm a chartered accountant. I've been qualified for 15 years. We're the best in our industry. We've been established for 15 years, blah, 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 blah. Like, in all honesty, who's bothered about you? And I mean that in the kindest way. Your customers are not bothered about you. The customer is bothered about their problem. This problem could be keeping them up at night. It could be keeping them away from their children. It could be putting them near on bankruptcy, and they need this problem solving, and they're looking for you, but they've just not found you yet because you're not communicating the right way. You're not communicating in their language. So have a look at your website. Make sure the content is not talking about you. Now, you will need to talk about you at some point to give some authority. So that is an influence technique. So you do need to do that. But your website shouldn't be focused on we're the best accountants, or we're the best social media managers, we're the best VAs, we're the best at this. No, don't do it. If you're a VA, focus on the problem that you solve for your customers. And with VAs, they have a very big problem, because a virtual assistant can do virtually anything, but they can't make you coffee. So that's a real problem. No, I'm joking. But they can do anything that's virtually, right? So therein lies a problem, because when you hire a virtual assistant, what can they do? Can they build your website? Can they build your social media profile? Can they do your admin? Like, what's their skill set? And again, this is where getting very, very clear on customer clarity, that your ideal customer, what's the problem that they're facing? And if the problem that they're facing that you can solve is social media management, now I could give you a list of over 100, maybe more, maybe probably about 1,000 people that are really, really struggling with social media management, because it's overwhelming. They're having to create content, they're having to post that content. Now, if you're a virtual assistant, you can solve that. Talk to that problem. I'm going to go in and we're going to review a few websites. And if you're joining me live, put your website in the comment section. Even if you're not joining me live, put your website in the comment section if you'd like me to review it, and I'll go through this clear process. So now we've got clarity on who we're talking to. So we've got the clarity. Now what do we need to do next? We need to look ourselves up on Google. So use the search engines, use Facebook, use LinkedIn, use Google, use the powerhouses. Unfortunately, they control most of the majority of the internet. So because they control the majority of the internet and most of that flow of traffic, look yourself up. What does your LinkedIn profile say about you? What does your Facebook profile say about you? What does your Facebook page say about you? If you've got a Facebook group, what does that say about you? Can you find your Facebook group? Can you find your Facebook page? Is it easy to find your Facebook page, or are there millions of you? So like for me, there are literally thousands of Jamie Selbys. Now, I didn't know that when I first set up my Facebook profile back in, what was it, 2004? No, I don't think I was that early, but you know, I didn't know. So there's so many Jamie Selbys, but you've got to make it easy for people to be able to find you by your name, by your company name. So look yourself up on Google, put in a search term that your customer, the ideal customer, might put into Google. Do you show up? Because if you don't, it's like having the best coffee shop in the world, but it is in some back street in nobody knows where it is. Nobody knows where it is. Nobody's been there to tell their friends about it. And then one day, one customer comes walking by because they've taken directions incorrectly on Google and they need a coffee. So they've gone into your coffee shop. They've tried it. It's amazing. It's the best coffee shop they've ever been to. They start posting on social media. They start posting on the internet saying, how amazing is this business? Now, that's how you start to get customers as well. So, but look yourself up. Can you find yourself? If you've got a physical location, go on Google. Can you find your location on Google? Does it say this is where my business is located? This is John the bookkeeper, and this is their location. This is the social media manager based in California. Does it show up? Are you showing up on Google? It's so important, and I do this on a regular basis, and I get really frustrated because unfortunately, my surname is also the same as a professional boxer and a professional snooker player. Now, I don't know whether I'm related to them, possibly somewhere down the line. But, you know, I'm competing with the search term Selby, and I get so frustrated because when I do it, I do show up. There's some pictures of me. There's some of my YouTube videos in there, which is great. And when I search Parental CEO, I'm pretty much at the top. When I search Parental CEO on Facebook, I'm at the top because it's a search term that is it's not a well-known one, and actually having a weird and wonderful name is probably the best way to get on the top of Google. I don't know if you've noticed this, but some of the gurus and some of the people doing really well have got very strange names. I'm not to say their name's strange, but like strange spellings or different spellings. I'll change my terminology, different spellings. So Google is going to put you at the front because there's nobody else with a name like you. So Google likes that. So again, thinking of a name that is a little bit out there, a little bit far-fetched, is not the worst thing in the world when it comes to search. So again, look yourself up, make sure your website is actually showing, because one of the biggest mistakes I've seen is people have spent money on a website and their website has not even been indexed. So what that means is Google is accepting your website as a genuine website. Now, in order to get your indexing, you may have to contact Google, let them know. Normally, you're, again, a bit techie. I'm not going to go into the technicals, but basically your hosting provider should do that so your website gets indexed straight away. Again, that's a bit techie for a lot of you, but just do the search. The next thing is the E of clear, and we want to evaluate. So now we know who our ideal customer is. We know why we're looking up ourselves on Google, because if we can't find ourselves, how do we expect our customers to find us? Then we've got evaluate. So now we've found our website. We need to evaluate that landing page. We need to actually look at our landing page and go through it and make sure we've got one call to action or two at maximum, no more calls to action. Now, I'm going to go through the calls to action in a minute. But when we're doing that review, we need to identify, have we got a call to action? Have we got a video on there? So Google likes videos, especially if they have been embedded from YouTube. So that can help with search. So a lot of people are getting more success with YouTube videos, actually embedding them into our websites or embedding them into their website. So I don't know if you've noticed recently, if you've been on the Google search, you click on the video tab, you'll see websites will be showing up at the top, not YouTube. Now, there is, I think there's some competition law coming in there, because again, I was reading an article where Google was actually putting YouTube at the top of those searches, which is kind of a bit naughty, but that's by the by. So we want to look at the design. Now, the design doesn't have to be anything fancy. It doesn't need to look like the Apple website. Apple have probably spent $6 million, probably more, on creating the website that you see in front of you. If you go onto apple.com, if you can learn from anyone, their website, the flow of it, the words they use, they are marketing geniuses. They are pricing geniuses. You can learn so much from Apple. It's amazing. They're an amazing business, and it's no wonder they are one of the most profitable companies in the world. I actually think AppSumo is the most profitable company in the world now, based on profit margin, not total profit. So you're there, you're evaluating, you're going through your website, you're going through it line by line. Is it talking to your ideal customer? Is it talking to their problem? Do you want to click on your links? Are you being encouraged to click on your links? Are the words there positive? Have you got enough social proof in there? Have you got enough testimonials in there? Have you got testimonials? You know, all of these things are so important, where lots of people are focusing on content like blog creation for SEO. They're concentrating on video. I've been there, I've done that. It doesn't help, to be honest with you. You've got to focus your time all the time on YouTube, or you've got to focus all your time into blog posts, because if you don't and you spread yourself too thinly, you're going to struggle to make it work on one platform. My focus is primarily Facebook. I do not focus on any other platforms. So if you look at my LinkedIn profile has been left a little bit lackluster. Yes, I can repurpose content onto those platforms, but I don't want to do that just yet, because I really want to focus in on Facebook, and I want to create this Facebook community, Parental CEO. That's what's important to me. So you've evaluated your website. Now what do you do? Well, we now need to look at action. Now, why is action so important? Because we're trying to get the customer to engage. We're trying to get the customer to engage within our website within 7 seconds. Now, if we hide that action button, that call to action button that everyone talks about, if we hide it like right at the bottom of our website, within 7 seconds, if they can't get to the bottom of the content and there's too much text there, they're not going to click on that link. So you put that action button everywhere you can. And this is where I was saying have 2 calls to action maximum. It's better if you have 1, but then think about the flow for the customers. So one of the things I'm working on at the moment is I'm building a scorecard at the moment. I've created all the questions based on my experience of helping parent entrepreneurs, helping business owners become the CEO of their business, to make more money, to spend more time with their family. So I'm creating that questionnaire. You might be thinking, why would I want to create a questionnaire? Now, with a questionnaire, you can get very, very good data from that questionnaire as one, which is great for you to then help your customers even further. 2, you can start to evaluate them. So I've got the M6 method, which we take you through: motive, money, magnet, marriage, management, and movement, with a foundation of mindset. So that's what I take my customers through. Now, in each one of those sections, I can then score people on each of those sections. Now, if you think about how valuable that information is, so I've just recently done a scorecard for key person of influence, which helps you increase your influence. So the more you increase your influence, actually, the higher the prices you can charge. The more people want to work with you, the more customers you'll get, etc., etc. So I did that influence scorecard, and some areas I scored well, some areas I didn't. And it was very good for me to be able to see that information in a blink of an eye, to be able to make a split-second decision. And obviously, I'm giving you insider information to the parental CEO. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want you to learn from what we're doing, be able to implement that into your own business and see the results it's going to get you. Because having that questionnaire for your business, if you've got a fitness business, if you've got a PA business, again, if you've got a PA business, imagine asking a series of questions around administration, bookkeeping, social media profiling, or social media management. So all of these different areas of their business, and being able to identify that actually most people are smashing it at their bookkeeping. I don't know that for a fact. And most people are smashing it at their social media management, but everyone seems to be struggling with their administration. So how can you then help them with their administration? Not only that, you can then start to systemize the process. So I don't want to go into too much detail because I'm already 30 minutes in, and I've got more to cover. But as you can see, this stuff, it's not come easy to me. I've had to learn this, and I've had to learn it the hard way. I became a chartered accountant. I've learned lots and lots. So anyways, that's action. So we need to create some form of action. If they click that link, fill out the form, leave an email address, they are what I would call a warmed up lead. So just like the Facebook group, we created this Facebook group. We put, allow us to contact you via email. We are in the process of putting together a series of videos that we are then going to help you for free in the process to becoming the CEO of your business. Again, I'm going to go through that in more detail next week. We're going to be giving you loads and loads of tips on how to manage being a parent, how to cover your mindset, loads of different areas that you need in order to evolve to become a CEO. That's my Jedi power, if you want to call it that. But you have to get customers to take action. You have to get them to either put their email address in or opt into something, because if they opt into something, they're telling you that they're looking for what you have. They're looking for the solution that you have. And if they're looking for the solution you have, there is a chance that they could become potential customers. And I don't like using customers because anyone I work with isn't a customer. Typically, they become a friend. And that's the way I like to think about my friends and working with my friends and helping them to success. So once we've gone through that, we're very clear on who our customers are. We've looked ourselves up on Google. We've done at least 10 searches of key search terms and see where we show up. Do we show up on page 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? We've then evaluated our website. Is it clearly communicating to that customer? Is it clearly asking the customer or telling the customer what they need to do to work with us? Have we got a clear call to action? Have we got a lead magnet? And again, that lead magnet could become that questionnaire. That questionnaire can then give instantly free information. I use an app called scoreapp.ai. So just write that down, scoreapp.ai. I've got no affiliate, no association with them whatsoever. I pay £29 plus VAT for creating the scorecard. The scorecard will be coming out in the coming months, so I would really, really appreciate it if any of you'd like to fill out that scorecard and see how your business scores against other businesses and benchmark yourself just to see, how close are you to becoming the CEO of your business. But again, that's a call to action. So we get to the R and resolve. Now, why is it so important for you to resolve those issues? So the amount of people that I've reviewed their website and I've helped them to really identify all of those issues. Who's their customer avatar? Who have you looked yourself up on Google? Have you evaluated? Have you got a clear call to action? And they've not resolved the issues. Now, I'm not a web developer. I can't code to save my life. I'm a graphic designer. I can do graphic design. Taya and myself, we designed the logo for Parental CEO. I've designed my own logos. I've designed almost everything that I've got that puts out there, all the social media. I designed the slides, all of these things that I've created. But the reason why I've created those, because it resolves the issue. It solves the problem. So if you don't resolve all the issues that you've identified above and you're scared to go to a developer, I just want to put into context, it cost me $35 to create a one-page website. Now, when I say a one-page website, it's got all the functionality, it's got all the buttons, it's got the icons ready for me to drop in my photos, icons ready for me to drop in my videos. It cost me $35. Now, admittedly, I would have liked to have this knowledge 24 months sooner because, you know, I wasted money paying what I thought would be a good designer, what I thought would be a good copywriter, and they just ended up taking more and more money and just taking me to the cleaners. But again, that's for another subject. So resolve the issues that you've identified, and don't be afraid to invest the money to resolve those issues, because if you don't, then nothing's going to change. Nothing is going to change. So hopefully that gives you a bit of clarity. I'm 35 minutes in. As you can see, I really do geek out on this subject. And like these glasses show, your website is currently the blurred bit around, and people are not being able to find it. They're not being able to see what it is that you're trying to sell, what it is you're trying to communicate. If you're not communicating effectively, then how are you expecting the customer to then make a decision? Just like with our kids, if we don't communicate effectively with our children, how do we expect them to know what to do? We can't. We can't. So I was going to do review a website, but I'm sorry, I've gone into so much detail in those other areas because I've kind of geeked out, and I apologize there. But hopefully you've got a lot of value from that. Like I say, drop your website in the links below, and I will review that for free. I will send you basically a 60-minute video for free, and I will go through that clarity process or that clear process to really help you identify some of the changes that you make. But the only thing I ask is that you try and resolve those issues. So once you've done that, I've created the IceC process, which is information, clicks, emails, and customers. Now, without going into too much detail, we want to get data. We need to get data. So we've made these changes to our website. How do we know that they're working? How do we know that anything's changed? Well, that's where we need the information. Then we need to have a look at the facts. How many people have clicked on it? How many people have clicked on our lead magnet? How many people have clicked the button? How many people have clicked the video? So we've looked at those clicks. We've now can look at the facts. You know, where are people's eyes going? Have people actually scrolled to the bottom of our website? You know, what are they actually doing when they land on our website? It can lead to information overwhelm, but it's important that you do this process at least monthly. Is my recommendation. Some of you be like, monthly, you're crazy. But even if you do it 6 monthly, it's something you have to do. Like, if you don't do this, how are you going to expect to keep generating consistent leads and be a magnet to your ideal clients? You can't. Then we want to have a look at the leads. So how many emails have we got? Have we been able to collect emails? Have we been able to turn those emails into appointments? Again, that's a different part of the process, because that's then moving into the marketing or the conversion. So we've been able to capture their attention. We've been able to engage with them. They've given us their email address. Now we need to engage with them, give them some true value. And I believe very, very firmly on giving everything, because I'm a giver. And I love this community, and I just want to give everything I can to help everyone in this community, because I know how much of a struggle it is as a parent. I know how much of a struggle it is as a business owner. You know, I know from doing tens of thousands of hours research into business, you know, understanding the sales process, understanding everything. It takes time. And the last thing is money. Have your customers actually voted with their wallet? If they've voted with their wallet, that's telling you you're doing the right thing. Now, I don't know about you, check your website. If your website hasn't got something where they can buy or give you their email address at any point, like, you've got to change that. You have to be able to accept money online via your website. You have to have something of value that you can give to your customers. Because, and again, I don't want to go into too much detail, if you'd like me to go into in more detail, it's called the trust curve. Now, the trust curve is basically when you start a relationship, whether it be with a friend or anyone, you have to build up trust. Now, in order to build up that trust with a friend, it's not necessarily you have to spend money with them, but you have to spend time with them. You have to have an investment into the relationship. And that's exactly the same as what you're trying to do in business. You're trying to invest time, and you're then trying to get the customers to then ultimately share some money with you to then enable you to serve them better, to enable you to spend more time helping them. So have they voted with their wallet? Can they actually buy something online? Can they buy anything? It doesn't have to be a $10,000 product, but they have to be able to click a link and buy something there and then, or schedule a call, or do something that requires them to invest either time into the relationship or money into the relationship, because then you know you're going to get your ideal clients coming to you, not everybody coming to you. And if you make it that way, if you make the process that way, so for me, you'll go through the scorecard. At the end of the scorecard, you'll be invited to have a free one-to-one with me, where we'll go through, or my team, where we'll go through the scorecard with you in more detail. You would then be offered the potential for actually working with us in a coaching relationship if you meet our criteria and actually you need our help, because we don't want to help people or take people's money that don't need our help. That's not how we work, although some people do, and I'm not mentioning any names. So that's the IceC method. Now, I've got a bit of an offer, which is normally $597. So I hope you don't mind me sharing this. Now, I do this as a bit of a hobby. I like to review websites. I have reviewed literally thousands of websites. I love it. I've helped so many accountants and bookkeepers with their websites, with their communication. And it's just something that I like to do. I like reviewing ads. You know, I get the local magazine come through and I just review the ads. It's something that I geek out on. So during this in-depth online review, I will go through the clear process. I will do that for free. If you drop your website in the link, even if you're watching the replay, so drop your website in the link, I will do that for free. That's no cost. If you want me to do an in-depth review where basically I'm going to be spending pretty much the whole day, me and my team, going through your whole website, we're going to be looking at your online presence, your social media, your website, your blog. Have you got a YouTube channel? We're going to be looking at everything to see whether we can give you some data-led information to actually help you improve your business. And if you're interested in that type review, there's no commitment, no, like, I'm not going to hold you to it, but you know, I will be contacting you. So if you type review, but today I do have an offer, you know, in typical online fashion and practicing what I preach. It's $197. So if you wanted me to do an online in-depth review, which typically takes me and my team a full day. Now, if you were to pay that, like I say, you're looking more at the $697, but today is $197. If you're interested in that, like I say, type in review. If you're interested in freebies, then, like I say, drop your website in the comments below. I think it'd be great because, one, it adds backlinks to your website, which Google likes. Not only that, I will personally give you an hour of my time, not my team's time, and I will review your website. I will send you a Loom video of what my thoughts are, what I feel like you need to change. You could just send that review video straight off to your developers to get the changes resolved straight away. I'm also giving away a free template that follows the Story Brand template. It's in GrooveFunnels. I've got video instructions as well to help you build your own like one-page website. And then I've got a list of at least 100 lead magnet ideas to get you thinking. So if you're not an ideas person, I am an ideas person. I'm going to give you loads and loads of ideas for a lead magnet. And a lead magnet could be a scorecard. It could be a book, an ebook, a guide, a brochure, white paper. There's the list is endless of things that you can do of value. If you're interested in that, just type free in the comments, and I'll be more than happy to send that through to you as my gift to you. And thank you for getting this far in the video. So anyway, I believe that's everything. No, so if you do something, you're going to be able to communicate better with your ideal clients. You are going to end up with more customers if you keep doing this. You're going to end up with more data to make more data-led decisions, which is ultimately going to lead to less stress. So if that's something you want to do, then do it. But if you want to feel epic, then do it. If not, then do nothing. So nothing changes. Your website still doesn't produce any results. You're still feeling stressed that you spent all this money on your website and it's doing nothing for you. Nothing changes again. And you feel even more stressed. So, it's up to you. You make your decisions. You can feel like this guy here, with a boulder on his head. And I felt like that at times. And I don't know about you, but I have. And it's only been when I've reached out to people and worked with people that I've actually started to see the light. So this is the transformation that we're looking to create. We're looking to take you from no good leads to being a lead magnet. So anyway, thank you ever so much for joining me today. I've gone 58 seconds over my planned 45 minutes. I hope you've enjoyed today's session. I hope you've got value from it. Thank you for being part of the Prental CEO community. I really do appreciate you all. You're doing an amazing stuff. I've been looking at some of your businesses, and it's amazing to be part of such a friendly community. It's amazing, and I hope you're enjoying it too. Anyway, have an amazing day. Take care. Bye-bye.